Good day, folks. Sean here from Air Photography. So one question that I've been asked quite a bit since the Hero 12 Black has been launched is which action camera should I purchase? Now that's a very difficult question to answer because as individuals we all use our action cameras differently. Somebody who's looking for a quick run and gun vlogging setup has different needs than somebody who's looking for an action camera for scuba diving. However, when it does come to general usage, I do have a preference when it comes to these two action cameras, and I'm going to share my opinion on that in this video. So to put it right out there, if I had to choose one action camera to take with me today to go and film, it's definitely going to be the Action 4. But don't get me wrong, the Hero 12 Black is an excellent camera. Both cameras have their strengths and weaknesses, and I'm also going to go over a few reasons where the GoPro does shine. Throughout this video, I'm going to be showing you some side-by-side video comparisons just so you can get a feel of what each camera has to offer. But let's get started with reason number one why the Action 4 is my favorite action camera currently. And the first reason is due to its magnetic mounting system. This magnetic mounting system was first launched with the Action 2, and it's just such a convenient way to move your camera from one accessory to the other. And quite often for me when I'm filming, I'm moving it from a selfie stick to a chest mount, sometimes to a handlebar mount. And this magnetic mounting system just makes the moving of the camera so simple and easy. It was something I was really hoping GoPro was going to adopt with the Hero 12 Black. Now there are third-party options available for the Hero 12 Black if you do want a magnetic mounting system, but they're not perfect. DJI just did a really good job implementing their magnetic mounting system, and it's very secure. Since I've been using their magnetic mounting system with the launch of the Action 2, not once has it come disconnected when I didn't want it to. So for me, that one reason alone makes the Action 4 very compelling. Now the second reason why I prefer the DJI Osmo Action 4 over the GoPro Hero 12 Black is due to the quick charging capabilities. One thing that DJI has implemented with the Action 3 and the Action 4 is quick charging, which means you can charge up one of the batteries that's empty all the way up to 80% in 18 minutes. Now most of the time with planning that's not too much of an issue, but there are those times where you go to grab your action camera to realize that the batteries are not fully charged or they might be, at 10%, 20%. With the Action 4 you can plug it in and within 18 minutes you'll have an 80% charge. That minimizes your downtime. You can get out and film it, especially if it's something that's quick on the fly. I actually had that last week with my Hero 12 Black. I have two batteries, two of the Enduro batteries for it, and both were depleted. For some reason I thought the one was fully charged, but it wasn't, and I had to wait quite a bit of time for it to get enough charge to go out and film. According to the GoPro website, their quick charging capability takes 2 hours to get it to 80%. So we're looking at 18 minutes to 80% or 2 hours. So that's just another nice feature that DJI has implemented. That quick charging feature works whether you've got the camera plugged directly into power or you're using their charging case. And that kind of goes on to the third reason. I really like the charging case that DJI has implemented. It's just a nice storage solution for your batteries. It'll accommodate up to 3 batteries. It has a memory card holder at the top there. As mentioned, it's fully capable of quick charging. And just due to its design, you can plug this directly into a power bank, throw it in your backpack, and charge on the go. Unlike the official GoPro charger, they used to have a really nice charger a few years back, but they've changed the design for the Hero 9 batteries and up. It just doesn't work very well as a carrying case for your batteries, and it definitely doesn't work by throwing it into a backpack plugged into a power bank. Now the fourth reason why the Action 4 is my favorite action camera to use is due to the built-in color temperature sensor. Now I'm going to show you some examples here. I was actually out filming the other day getting some comparisons for this video, and right now in Ontario we're in the middle of fall season. Everything is very colorful, and sometimes the GoPro can have a hard time dealing with that. If you look at this first segment here, I just set the cameras up, started recording, and you can see the GoPro is oversaturated. It had a really hard time getting a good color temperature in auto mode. Doesn't look too bad, but you can see that it's just way too oversaturated. Whereas the Action 4, due to its color temperature sensor, got accurate colors right when I started hitting record. I didn't have to go in and change anything. That's more natural what it looked like out when I was filming. Now ideally on both cameras you can go in and manually set your color temperature, and that is something you should do, but there are those times where you're just in auto mode and you're just grabbing some quick footage. You don't always think about it, or you don't always have time to go in and change the color temperature for every scenario. especially if you're moving and the color temperatures are changing, although you can set it just at a middle of the road temperature. Having that color temperature sensor just makes a world of difference. Here's another clip here while I was actually riding on the bike, and you can see that there's a lot of color shifting with the Hero 12 Black footage. Again, as the lighting conditions change, the color temperature changes, which can really ruin your footage. However, if you look at the Action 4 footage with its color temperature sensor, the drastic changes in color temperature were very minimal. So for me, that built-in color temperature sensor is another reason why I enjoy using the Action 4 a little more than the Hero 12 Black. Now, another reason why I prefer using the Action 4, especially when it comes to filming for my YouTube channel or vlogging, is that it is super easy to connect a microphone. All you have to do is remove that side door, plug in your microphone receiver, and away you go. I like it because it's just small and unobtrusive, so if you're doing vlogging, it doesn't get in the way. If you just want to grab some shots, you can unplug the microphone quickly, put it in your pocket, plug it back in when you want to start recording again. The Hero 12 Black, in order to connect a wireless microphone, you do have to purchase their media mod, which these things are not cheap. So it's another expense that you're going to need on top of purchasing a microphone. And then you run into other issues when you're using the media mod. First of all, you have no access to your battery or the memory card, so if you have to change out the battery, you have to pull it right out of the media mod, or same thing if you just want to put a new memory card in it, which also means you have to disconnect it from whatever mount you have it on, because when the finger mounts are down, you can't pull it out of the media mod. So it's just not a very practical setup. So somebody who's looking for just a quick run and gun vlogging setup, something like this is ideal. Now, another reason why I really enjoy using the DJI Osmo Action 4 over the GoPro Hero 12 Black is due to the quick switch feature. Now, the Hero 12 Black has something similar. We can cycle through the various modes, but with the GoPro, you're limited to just switching between photo mode, video mode, and time-lapse mode. But with the quick switch feature on the Action 4, not only can you cycle through the various preset filming modes, you can create custom modes that you can cycle through with that button as well. On top of that, in the settings, you can customize which modes are included in the quick switch feature. As you can see, we can add check marks and take them out. And that way, when using that quick switch feature, it's only cycling through the different modes that we want in there. It's really intuitive, and it's just another great reason why I like to use it. Now, another reason why I prefer to use the DJI Osmo Action 4 over the GoPro Hero 12 Black is due to the fact that DJI have better thermals. The Action 4 does not overheat nearly as quickly as the GoPro Hero 12 Black. Now, GoPro has made some improvements this year. It no longer overheats at 4K 30, but if you're recording at 4K 60, it's definitely still going to overheat. Now, it's going to depend on the situation. If you've got this strapped to a motorcycle helmet, or you've got it on the handlebars of a dirt bike or bicycle, chances of it overheating are very minimal because you're going to have air moving over the camera. But if you're a person who's going to be filming handheld with it, perhaps you're filming a car show, maybe you have it on a tripod filming a car race. If you're going to be filming at 4K 60, there's a good chance that it's going to overheat, especially on a hot day. So overheating isn't going to be a big issue to everybody depending on how you use your camera, but it is something to keep in mind. Now, another area where the DJI Osmo Action 4 has the advantage is when it comes to low light. Now, no action camera does well in low light conditions, but definitely the Action 4 can perform a little bit better. Not only when it comes to video quality, but also stabilization. These action cameras, in order for stabilization to work correctly, need a lot of light. So when you get into dark environments, interiors, or even filming at twilight, your stabilization and the image quality can degrade very quickly. But the Osmo Action 4 actually does a pretty good job. Now, ideally, if you're going to be filming a lot in dimly lit interiors or low light situations, something like the new Pocket 3 is a better alternative than an action camera. With it, you have a mechanical gimbal, so you don't have to worry about having a lot of light for a fast shutter speed, and it has a 1-inch sensor, so it's definitely something you may want to consider. I actually have one on order. It should be here next week, so I will be covering it fully on my channel as well. Now, another area where I prefer the Action 4 over the GoPro is when it comes to wind noise reduction. I actually do a lot of filming on my e-bikes with my action cameras, and if I just want to do some talking and I don't have a microphone hooked up, the Action 4 does a much better job getting rid of the wind noise. I'm just going to show you a quick example here. Both cameras were on a chest strap. I'll first play the clip that I captured on the Action 4, and then I'll play it back again, this time from the Hero 12 Black, and you'll notice that the Action 4 does a much better job getting rid of the wind noise. When riding on an e-bike or any type of mountain bike, sometimes there's a lot of wind whipping across the microphones, so it can be very important.
Okay, so now we're going to do a quick test of the wind noise cancellation, I guess you could call it, to see how well the cameras remove wind noise, as I will be traveling fairly fast. So there's going to be a good amount of wind moving across the microphones. So again, we're just going to do some wind reduction comparisons. Okay, so now we're going to do a quick test of the wind noise cancellation, I guess you could call it, to see how well the cameras remove wind noise, as I will be traveling fairly fast. So there's going to be a good amount of wind moving across the microphones. So again, we're just going to do some wind reduction comparisons.
And lastly here, one of the most important reasons why I prefer to use the Action 4 over the Hero 12 Black is just due to stability. The Action 4 just works flawlessly. I have not once had my camera freeze up on me, or have I lost any footage. GoPros are notorious for locking up. Now for a little bit there, I thought the Hero 12 was doing really good. But the other day I did have a lockup. The camera just froze up, the red light stayed on, I couldn't power it on, couldn't power it off. The only way to correct it is to open it up and pull the battery out, then it would power back on. Now that's something that happens quite a bit with my GoPros. Every generation of GoPro I've ever had, I've always had lockups and freeze ups. For some reason GoPro just cannot get that figured out, whereas my Action 4, I have not once had my camera lock up on me. So for me, that's really important because I've lost a lot of footage with GoPros over the years just because it freezes up, the video file becomes corrupted, or sometimes it freezes up and it's not even recording. So, that can be a little bit problematic, especially when you're filming something very important. Now, with that said, let's talk about GoPro, because GoPros definitely have their advantages. One of the best features of the Hero 12 Black is the ability to film in vertical mode without having to rotate your camera. That was introduced with the Hero 12 Black this year. Right in the settings, you can go and set to a vertical mode. Now, the maximum resolution that you can record in is 4K, but for most people that's going to be more than sufficient. So if you're a person who films for social media and you need to capture some vertical video, you don't have to worry about unmounting your camera, remounting it vertically, or buying any special hardware to mount it vertically. You can do that right in the software now. So a great feature of the Hero 12 Black. Now another great feature of the Hero 12 Black is its 8x7 aspect sensor. Again, if you're a person who films a lot for multiple platforms, social media, YouTube, you can film in that 8x7, and then in post you can crop it to whether you want a vertical video or a horizontal video. That allows you to film once and you can upload it to multiple platforms. So when it comes to flexibility to multiple platforms, definitely GoPro has the advantage. Now another area where the GoPro Hero 12 Black has the advantage is that it does record at a higher resolution. You're able to record up to 5.3K, whereas the Action 4, the max resolution is 4K. Now for most people that's not a big issue. In fact, quite often when I'm recording at 4K anyways. But for those who want the maximum resolution you can get, definitely the GoPro is the way to go. Another area where GoPro has the advantage is when it comes to slow motion at higher frame rates. Both cameras can record in 4K at 120 frames per second, but if you want to film at 8 times slow motion, so at 240 frames per second, with the GoPro you can film at a resolution of 2.7K, whereas the Action 4 you're bumped down to 1080. Now again, for most people that's not a big issue. I find 120 frames per second is a nice sweet spot for slow motion. But for those who do want to film at 8 times slow motion at a higher resolution, GoPro is your better choice. And lastly, one area I think the GoPro does have the advantage again over something like the Action 4 is when it comes to preset night modes. GoPro has a nice menu system where you can easily shoot different style of night shots. They have light trails, light painting. If you want to do night photos or night time lapses, it's very easy to set it up in a GoPro without a lot of experience. You can do all that with your Action 4, but you do have to dial in most of your settings. Now that's just software. I'm hoping that at some point that DJI introduces more preset night modes to make it a little bit easier in some scenarios if you just want to do some quick run and gun filming at night. So we've looked at both cameras and the strengths of each one. Now when it comes to neutral capabilities, I would have to say when it comes to stabilization, both cameras are on par with one another. I wouldn't really say one is better than the other. GoPro has maybe a slight advantage because it has that auto boost, so it's not going to crop in as much when it doesn't need it. But when it comes to just general stabilization, both cameras do an excellent job. And then of course the most important thing is video quality. And I would have to say that they're both, neck and neck. I wouldn't really say one is better than the other. I've been very pleased with the footage captured on both cameras. Some people say that you do get better footage with a GoPro, but honestly, I don't see that. In fact, I've had more compliments from my Action 4 footage when I've uploaded it to different channels. People ask me what camera that was captured on because they really like it. So I guess when it comes to video quality and what you think looks better, that's all going to be personal taste. So at the end of the day, both are excellent cameras, and no matter which one you choose, you're going to be happy with. You just have to look at all the capabilities and the features and decide which ones are most important to you. And for me, the features of the Action 4 and the capabilities of it is why it's one of my favorite action cameras currently. The way I use my action cameras, I really like how it performs, it's convenient, and it's just a pleasure to use. Now with all that said, I'm very curious what your thoughts are, what your favorite action camera is. If you own both of these action cameras, let me know down in the comments which one you prefer to use the most. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it and got some value out of it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. It's always greatly appreciated. And we'll see you in the next one.